Hi everyone, it's me, your friendly neighborhood GM here on MythBrigade. I wanted to take a second to warn you that what you're about to see is a pickup for a Call of Cthulhu campaign that we've been running for well over a year. The characters are very seasoned, they've been through a lot of stuff, and they've been through the first couple of episodes of The Mask of Nyarlathotep as well. Anyway, the decision to record was like an absolute last minute thing, and so we just threw my phone up on a tripod in the corner of my dining room and went at it. So since then, we have decided to invest in a couple of cameras that we can use in that room, so that when we're not doing the live stream on Twitch, we can post full and high quality episodes of our nonsense that we do on Sundays around that table. Anyway, thanks so much for checking it out. Thanks so much for supporting everything that we're doing here at MythBrigade. Do me a favor, right now before the episode starts, click thumbs up, click subscribe, click the bell, and then don't regret your decision when we get into this. Have a good night.
Moments before we cut off, which was probably not great timing, you heard sort of a shriek back out into the countryside, closer to Mom Tor, sort of out in the hills. So let's take a second to re-engage with just how sort of fever pitch that was. It was just a couple of seconds ago. You hear the shriek off in the distance.
And we, at some point prior to this, I had taken the time to collect some silver and fashion them into bullets.
Yes.
You had, that's right.
Bullets.
You had put some silver tips to your bullets, right?
So I think everyone has like one magazine or revolver load full of silver bullets.
All right, so you have your revolver load of silver bullets, because everyone's quite certain, since this all happens on the full moon, that it absolutely must be a werewolf. You, like I said, so Lawrence is there with you, and he's panicked, obviously. He had just basically said, "How can I help? How can I help?" And you're kind of hearing a shriek off in the distance.
Is this the shriek towards town or away from town?
You're not really sure being in here. It's certainly outside of this kind of cavern, and you're kind of a little bit far up in there, right? So it's hard to get a direction at this distance. Joe, what do you do?
Get my gun.
Okay, so you draw your revolver and do what? You're standing here kind of in this sort of basement entry, this sort of mine basement convergence.
Head towards the entrance to the mine.
Okay, so you rush back toward the entrance of the mine. How are you going about doing that? Are you like full on sprinting? Or are you just kind of trotting? Like what level of urgency are you?
Do we have a light source?
I'm gonna assume you have torches. Yeah, flashlights. Yeah, let's assume so.
Urgent, but not so urgent that if something was hiding in the shadows, we would stumble right into it.
Okay. What's the marching order? Who's going first?
I'll be bringing along Lawrence if he's hesitant at all.
Okay, so you're kind of dragging him with you. So you notice that he absolutely
interrogating
is.
him, like where'd she go? Do you have any idea?
Okay, so you've got him by the arm, and you're like asking questions as you kind of run along. So I'm going to assume that you're taking up the front. So go ahead and give me a spot hidden.
57 out of, I think maybe 6. Yes.
So even with the difficulty of rushing along, you're keen perception. Are you re-rolling for some reason or what?
I never rolled mine. Oh, we don't do skills because we're in the middle of the fight.
Right, you're in the middle of the encounter.
Okay. I forgot we stopped.
Yeah.
When he tells you to do it or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, it's actually not that frequent. It's really kind of at major chapters in the campaign that you roll for skills. So
I forgot we realized that we were doing it.
Yeah, so you're moving along very quickly, back out through this cavern, out toward the sort of hillside. The one thing that you notice as you're moving is what would appear to be yet another kind of pile of this gross, viscous, fleshy substance, whatever it may be. As you kind of just stop instinctively looking down, it looks like the sole of a foot. Like someone was running and just literally walked right out of the sole of their own foot. It's just there. And it's kind of bubbling and sort of stomach turning. Walt and...
So whatever transformation it goes through is not instantaneous.
Not instantaneous and not exactly tidy either. It's not efficient. It probably involves a mop bucket at the end of the process.
American Werewolf in London that run for money here.
Exactly. So you you kind of stop to notice this sort of bubbling pile of flesh. Lawrence and Walt kind of barrel into you as they're taking up the rear. So you're asking, what were the questions that you asked him?
Do you have any idea where she would go?
Give me an intimidate roll. I'm assuming you're trying to be intimidating, or are you just trying to be
I drew my
funny?
gun at the same time. Like,
Okay, so you've got your gun in
so
your
it's,
hand.
it's a big angry armed guy dragging you around asking you
Okay,
questions.
got it. So you got his arm, and you kind of holding his shoulder up like this, and you've got your gun.
And knowing Walt, he's belligerent, not empathetic.
Yes,
It's 28 out of 88.
28 out of 88. You are an intimidating human being. So this was actually a fairly easy task. So you've got him frightened. Yeah, the physical kind of grappling you're doing with him, as well as the gun in your hands. And you ask, where does she go? Please don't hurt me. It's not my fault, he says. I can't. Please don't make me.
I'm not blaming you, I'm not going to hurt you, but we need to find her and we need to stop her.
She tries not to hurt anyone. She's learned. She can overcome this. Please don't hurt me. He's kind of leaning back, and you're pulling him forward. He's letting his weight rest backwards, so it's getting kind of hard. He's a strapping young lad.
Can you get through to her at all like this?
No, never. No, I lock my door. Sometimes she comes to visit. Sometimes she comes and she looks in the window. I can hear her out there, watching, ever watching. I don't think she understands. I don't.
So she can find you.
Yes.
You're coming with me.
No, please, let me go home. What part do I have in this? It's not my fault. I didn't know, he says.
Bait.
So you say bait, and he kind of does the flabbergasted young Britishman. So you pull him forward. You exit this sort of
What
this.
happened to the father? Did he?
The father was running down. You passed him. He's the
yeah.
kind of, if you remember, he's sort of not the most physically fit guy.
Right. Okay.
He was kind of running down the hallway, and you just blew right
So
past
we
him.
passed him, and we haven't waited for him.
Exactly right. Ironically, though, as I was getting close to
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. When you burst out of this catacomb into the night air, it's kind of that crisp, cool British. Well, it's cold. They say it's cool. We would say it's fucking cold. You step out into the night air. It's kind of cloudy. You can't. All you can hear is just the echoes in your head of this scary sort of howl in the distance, and you can hear Lord Vane's voice suddenly piping up. Stop! He's got a double-barrel shotgun in his hand. Stop it! Stop where you are! No more of this! You don't belong here, he says. He's got the double-barrel shotgun kind of down, aimed at the ground, but he could quickly lift it up. What do you do?
Oh, well, if he's not aiming at me, I'm aiming at him.
Okay, so okay.
So am I.
Okay, so you
And I separate.
And I have his sight.
okay.
And I separate to make sure that we're not like right next to each other.
Okay, so you walk out, you see this double barrel shotgun, you quickly aim your gun at him, probably sideways like Tupac. You aim at him and take a couple steps to get a flank so that he can't just quickly like shoot you both with one shotgun blast. Okay, what do you do then?
Drop the gun.
She's my daughter! She's my daughter!
We're gonna try and stop her without killing her.
You cannot. You must let this run its course. She is learning. I've not got much of my life left, and I will gladly give it for her.
Well, we have to try.
Give me a fast talk roll, please.
Maybe, what is it? 23 out of... No, there's nothing there. Sorry.
You do a slow talk. You do an extreme slow talk. So you say that, but the trouble is you're just so scary. That schmooze isn't your thing. Kill and destroy and maim. Coming back from the war, that's all you remember. So you say that, and you see him kind of tighten. His body language gets even more sort of severe. I cannot allow you to do this. You are not safe if you pursue her. Allow her to have this night. It will pass in due time.
You can't let her keep killing people. Every death that she commits is on your head.
It is not on my head. Don't you understand the death that we have faced in Marsh family? And then you Americans come thinking you can solve all the problems? It's not that simple. It is a curse. She must break it.
Do you know how she breaks it?
While she lives, there will be no others. While she lives. I believe God has told me so.
What do you do?
Explain.
So he begins to explain. I'm going to ask you to both, you give me a spot hidden, but it is extremely difficult. So that is going to be...
Oh, I got a 5. So
Whoa! All right. So okay. The first thing that you notice, you don't even need to roll. So you kind of notice the movement. You're focused on Lord Vane. Is that Lawrence is shifting and his weight is changing, and in the moonlight you see a slight flash of metal. What do?
I smash him against the wall.
Okay. So you're just outside of this kind of this catacomb sort of mine entrance. Go ahead and give me a brawling roll. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
47 out of 89.
Jumping game systems is a little disorienting. I can't. It's like I want to be like roll a d20.
When he's like, I notice him starting to move. It's like smash him like that, and like my gun into his back.
Okay, so you proceed to do you turn and smash him. He's gonna actually fight back. So that is a thing in this game, I remember.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic. So what was your success level?
Regular.
Okay,
Just
so
short
he's
of better than that.
okay. So he's basically. I'm going to say you're kind of a bigger, more experienced, you kind of tied out at success level. So basically you kind of slam him into the wall and push your gun down into his collarbone, and he, let me go, unhand me, he says. Lord Vane turns his weapon on you. What do?
Shoot him.
You shoot him. Okay. Are you just going to blow his brains out? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to wing him? Like, are you?
I'm gonna try to shoot him like chest area because I can aim for a shoulder, but if I miss, I'd rather put him down than get shot back.
Fair enough. Oh, especially with that weapon at this range. Okay,
Right.
Go ahead. So you're gonna go ahead and give me your firearms roll.
If I scare him, that's just as good, but I'm not looking to get shot back.
Yep. And reactions. So you've got let me see. So you haven't been aiming, but this is not point blank range. I'm trying to sort out. You've got no penalties. This will be a straight roll.
Okay. 40, that meets half. So
Okay, nice.
half
So
is exactly 40.
you absolutely. Let's see. Wow. So he's more focused on shooting you, and his gun actually goes off just as your bullet hits him. You hear, and you see the grass and dirt at his feet kind of fly up. As you do, in fact, shoot him, and with a half, I'll allow you to have specified the location. So give me a damage roll. Let's see how that works out for old Lord Vane. 2. So
The idea was try, if he's right-handed, to shoot him in the right shoulder.
Okay, so I'll give you that. So you do shoot him in the right shoulder, and just the velocity of the bullet alone at this range just takes a... You see basically a spray in the moonlight. It looks black because it's dark, but basically the bullet goes right out the back of him. He falls down, and the shotgun kind of falls down across his chest. What do?
Charge. and
Okay,
kick
so
it
you're
away.
going to charge that. So that'll be your move. So you'll run that direction. What do?
Is
So
he
that was
struggling?
it. He is, but he's not. He's a boy. You know what I mean? Like he's. Let me go.
Get him to drop whatever metal he had.
Okay, I made him sound like Eddie Izzard. So okay, what do you just say? Drop it, sort of thing. Give me an intimidate roll. See if he drops it. I'm going to give you a bonus die as well because he's already scared of you.
15 out of 88.
You hear the sound of something kind of, the crisp sound of grass, just sort of like something lands, you know.
Okay.
You don't know what it is. You might have dropped a pizza. For all you know. It's dark. Probably wasn't a pizza, but it could have been. So he dropped something. And then he sort of stopped struggling quite as much. You don't understand!
I push him towards his father, and then I see to the wound and like kick his shotgun away, and
Okay.
actually he get there before him, but that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. So you push him over there just to kind of get them in the same area and kind of, in one spot. At that moment, you hear coming, it's almost like it was over sort of to the east, and now it's creeping back west, like toward the town. Actually, I'm sorry, you're facing south, so it would have been the reverse of it.
Okay.
But still, it's toward town.
All right, so when my turn comes up, I'm gonna do whatever quickly I can do for the bullet hole in that guy's shoulder.
Okay, so you're moving over that direction. You arrive first. What do you do?
Either take the shotgun or kick it away, which if doesn't have a firm grip on it, I'll grab it and yank it.
Okay, so
Seems like he
he's
doesn't,
clearly not the type of guy that gets shot often.
The 60-year-old English.
A
royalty.
60-year-old English royalty, exactly. So he knows. He may have been in the military. A lot of folks back then were, but he's certainly not in the mood to be shot tonight, and his dinner jacket and such. So you reach up and grab the barrels of the shotgun. They're still kind of hot from the shot. You can still sort of smell the gunpowder. It looks like you fired both barrels at the same time. That would have been your end, no question, at that range. So you grab the barrels. It is empty, and you don't have any shells, but now you've got more to add to your arsenal.
But now he doesn't have a shotgun. So
What do you do? So Walt arrives and just kind of slides in on his knees, and you start looking at this guy.
Ruin his dinner jacket and make something that
Okay.
go over the wound.
Okay, so you basically just tear open his dinner jacket, grab your ear. Oh, it hurts! He's bleeding pretty
And
bad.
get Lawrence to apply pressure.
Give me a persuade roll. Lawrence is standing back, in shock, and you notice he's taken a couple steps back from the scene. He sort of walked up on it as instructed by Walt. Walt slid in on his knees, and now the kid's kind of like backing up, like with this look of horror on his face.
I got a 58 out of 43, but to hopefully move it along, I'm going to use a whole bunch of luck to bring it down to 43.
Oh man, messing up your luck. Let's not forget about luck. What are you at right now?
I'm down to 11.
Oh shit. What happens when you get out of luck? You have absolutely no luck. You're so screwed.
I keep an eye on the kid, make sure he doesn't try anything.
Okay, well, he's backing up. So you notice him backing, taking steps. He's like,
You gotta hold this here, you gotta help your father. Come on, kid.
and so you push you could have pushed the roll too, by the way, remember that. So just to remind you, the way the push roll works is if you fail, you can say, you ask me, can I push the roll? If I decide yes, you can roll again as if nothing happened, but then the results of failure are much worse. So before you spend that luck, do you want to try to push the roll? But you
So
can't
I-
spend luck once you push it.
Right. So it either works or it goes real bad. I think
Correct.
I'll do that.
Okay. So you're gonna push the roll.
Yeah. 10.
10. All right. So good job. And on push rolls, you don't get to take the improvement tick. So you don't check off the skill if you push roll.
Right, because you failed the first time.
Or if you spend luck, right? Okay. So you say that, at which point he nods and he comes back into the situation and comes in to help you. What do you instruct him to do?
Whenever I click the basics real quick to pressure stop bleeding.
Okay. You
If they,
do you have first aid?
yeah,
Okay. Give me a first aid roll. Let's see what happens.
20 out of 48.
Okay. So you basically sort of push him, or you kind of move him around and get him out of his jacket, and then pull your knife out and rip the arm off of it and start packing it into, kind of putting pressure on the wound. It's clean through, which is good. So you won't need to dig the bullet out. But he's going to obviously need some treatment and probably some antibiotics and things like that.
Sorry this up.
She's going for him. You know that.
Going
For who?
You remember there was the boy in town that Eloise had a bit of a shine for.
Mm-hmm.
I forget his name now. So we'll move on because you've forgotten his name since I have. I'll put it on you. Anyway, so it's always about him. I've been protecting him, he says. Anyway, so you get the bleeding, you get the wound packed. You're not going to stop the bleeding here on the hillside. You need to get him inside.
So I'll
I
leave
don't
that up to
think
him.
we had something.
You did, I swear.
The son was interested in Lydia Parkins. I don't know if we had anything.
Oh, you know, you're right. That's errata on my part. You're so right. I can edit that out.
You're so right.
That's what I love about like post recording when it's not live. I could just like just take the cool parts, take the word talk out. It'll just look like we're gradually getting more buzz as we go. But anyway, so you're right. You're absolutely right. He has been protecting his sister, and anyway, so you pack the wound, and then what?
Instructions like when it slows down or whatever, get the doctor or whatever.
Okay, so he's there. Where are you going?
We're going to stop her.
Let them go, son. Just let them go. If they wind up like the others, we'll serve them right. No, Father, we can't let them do that. It's too obvious, he says.
What do you do?
Problem is that I need to get back to the pub or the inn.
Weathers catches up after having,
Oh, yeah.
He was back by the door once the gunfire started, you know, the academic types.
What? I'll leave you guys alone for just a minute. You start shooting people? He says.
I think
It's
you'd
a
be
hobby.
used to it by now.
Yeah. Where's the werewolf? He says.
Escaped.
Out there.
Out there. You saw it?
No.
Oh.
Hey, I got a sample.
That's where he stopped. He stopped at the foot.
It was a foot.
Oh,
That was so gross. What are you staring at me for? What the fuck are we doing? He says.
I need to get that tranquilizer spear from the pub.
Yeah, so that you know what else is at the pub, he says. Stop staring at me, Joe. What are we doing?
He pulls out his
Give him the
flask.
spear,
He
we gotta go
takes a
with
big
what?
pull from his flask.
Yeah, we get up and head out, and we're going
Here.
down.
Here, it's effective juice. Come on.
We head towards town.
Okay. You traipse towards town along the sort of old cobble road. It's probably been around since ancient Roman times. There's like very little left of it, to be honest. These kind of little bits and pieces. Grass growing up between the flagstones. Yeah. You rush your way back, so you head right back to the pub.
Yeah, I thought of splitting up and me just going to get it, but I figured splitting up gets one of us killed.
Maybe that's possible. So you
Stick together.
you carry the shotgun as well? You just traipsing along the shotgun?
I just have my pistol.
Yeah, unless there's shells for it, I don't really see the point in traipsing.
Okay, so
along
you
the shotgun.
get far enough away and just kind of throw it on the ground, sort of thing. Okay, you do.
I can give him the shotgun I have that I left at the pub.
Well, we both have shotguns. They're just at the pub.
Yeah.
So
But we don't have any silver buckshots. So.
yeah, you return to the pub basically completely winded at this point after a long run in the cold. Your lungs are kind of burning, and you burst into the pub, which is none the wiser as to what the hell's going on. I just was taken aback by what the hell that is. Is that a black bean sandwich? Blueberry sandwich?
Peanut butter and blueberries.
Oh, ooh, wow, okay. We'll talk about that later. It sounds fucking awesome. Okay, so I just couldn't tell for you held it up from the side and it looked like either caviar or
I'm sure I want to try it with black beans, but
or caviar. Yeah.
probably not.
Peanut butter and caviar. You burst into the pub, and everyone else in there is fairly none the wiser. There's sort of the music playing on the radio, a little squawky radio in the corner, and the barmaid that was there before, she kind of looks up, and you're like, what do you? Weathers kind of, give me a double. He goes over to the bar while you're fetching.
I will stop at the barmaid and tell her that when we leave here, lock the door, everyone stays inside, and then I go right upstairs.
Oh, yeah, gunshots outside. Is that something going on?
Worse.
What do you mean worse?
Creatures out and about.
The what? The creature? He gets his hat and he grabs his scarf and he hauls ass out the door. My family! As he goes running out, kind of shit. Anyway, so what do you do? So you kind of run in, Weathers runs over to the bar.
Yeah, well, I guess they figured the bar was safe enough. Yeah, I go upstairs, get the spear, get the shotgun.
Okay. So you go upstairs, you kind of fiddle with the old school key, right? So remember that we don't have like beat blocks or anything. So it's kind of like fiddling and getting this big hulking key with a big leather tab. You know, you open the door and walk in. The door squeaks. You squeak on the wooden floor, grab your stuff, and then go running back downstairs, leaving your hotel room door wide open. What are you doing in the meanwhile as he's upstairs
Just
gathering?
waiting for him.
Okay, so
I'm sure there are people going to be asking questions.
Weathers is bellied up to the
I'm
bar.
trying to keep them calm and not let them leave.
Okay, so Weathers is bellied up to the bar. He's got a double in front of him. He's smoking a cigarette, and his fedora is sitting next to him. So, are we really going to do this, Joe? He says.
Yes?
Yep.
Hey, you arrive right about that. You see, he arrives over his shoulder, and he's like, "Oh, well, you got to stop that."
That's what we do, Weathers.
It is what we do, isn't it?
Yep.
All right, well, let's go do what we do. But first, I'm going to do what I do. And he gulps the double in one shot, takes a big drag of his cigarette, and then just drops the cigarette in the glass and lets it fizzle out. All right. Hey, who said the life of a professor was boring, huh?
There you go.
And you run out into the night. Where do you run? You weren't
So
given
that-
specific directions.
Okay, yeah, that wasn't the real thing, really.
Right. Yeah, you weren't given. Bless you. You weren't given real directions as to where near Montour this cave is, but apparently that's where she goes, or can be found there sometimes.
Okay, before leaving, ask, where is that?
Okay. So you asked where Montour is. Is it on the map there? It should be. It's like a 2 Montour. No.
Two Osgood, two Castle Plum. No.
All right. So to
I
move.
see it on here,
Do you? Okay. So it's that way.
to the east.
Wait, buddy.
Yes. Well, he said toward that. He didn't say at
Okay.
Montour. He said toward that.
Okay.
Hot
Should be
sauce.
towards the east.
I love when the action gets going. We start shouting. The dog gets really nervous. Okay. So you basically ask where that is. You-
Eastward and listening.
It's all to the east. What are you going there for?
I think I might be heading there.
Or at least in that direction.
Yeah, that way.
The man who ran out burst back in suddenly, scarf red, pulled up. Hearing basically as you say that, it's not far. I can hear it. It's out there.
Where?
My God, is it coming this way? Somebody's got to tell the vicar. Somebody's got to tell the constable.
Well, whoever's going anywhere, make sure you don't go alone.
He looks around, and there's just a couple other guys in the bar, and they're kind of, obviously sort of stirred up. And more than anything, they seem to be kind of wondering what the hell's up with the Americans, because they're kind of off to the side. The bartender basically, I think you should stay here, Mick. I think you should. What about my family? They'll hear it just as well as you do, and they'll likely lock the doors, but you're safe here. You'll live to fight another day, she says. And is very convincing with a 27. Her persuasion is successful, and he,
Where are we at?
what can I do to help? I'm not just gonna stand around and let this thing come and eat us all. Where are you at?
Where are we at on the map?
In Lesser Edale?
Where's the inn?
Oh, it's the number 6.
6?
Yes, the laughing
And
voice.
the church is 3, right?
Yeah.
Righto.
Oh, and the constable is, I think, over here. His house is number 2.
One number, or
Yeah,
Yeah.
Constable Tumwell's house.
It's number 1? That's a ways away. Do what you can to protect everybody here. We'll go to the church and let the vicar know on our way.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. If you got an extra gun, he says.
I'll give him the shotgun.
Oh, you give him the shotgun. He happily takes it, clearly. I mean, he doesn't go to the pub every night with his shotgun. Probably has one home. So he takes it, pops it open, takes a look at the load, and cracks it back shut. And goes to stand by the wooden shuttered windows.
Like a handful of shells.
You give him a handful of shells. A couple drop out of his hand as he takes them from you, and you run toward the
Just
front
don't
door.
shoot any people.
I think I can figure that one out.
See the nervous dropping.
God bless you, son. God bless you. Good luck.
You too.
You run back out into the cold. Weathers pulling up the lapels of his trench coat and putting his fedora on. And you traipse up toward the constable's house.
Constable's too far away, I think, to the church.
Yeah.
Okay, so you head over to the little cathedral there. Okay, so you run up to the church. The first thing that you notice is, well, the door's shut. It's nighttime, right? There's some lights on, but they seem to be deeper in. It's like not like it's fully lit.
Can we hear any noises?
Give me a listen roll, and I'll let you know. Nothing to the point where it's like echoing across the country at the moment.
78 out of 61.
I love that you'll see any, like you could see a flea jump from 100 yards away, but you can't hear if you're deaf as a post. You must have been in the
61's
artillery.
not bad.
You were in the artillery in World War I. That's what it was.
4 or 5 out of 75.
So you stop for a second, kind of grab the guys' coats,
As
so
an
they'll stop
investigator, I
running.
do more spying than eavesdropping.
Your own breath at this point is kind of causing you problems and making it a little harder to hear, but you kind of listen and you think you hear this sort of, it's very faint, but you can sort of triangulate it that way.
The direction we're heading?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, up and that way, yeah.
I can kind of hear it.
Far enough away that it's not like standing at the front door of the church
Yeah.
waiting for you to just like pounce all over you. Anyway, so heart's beating like crazy, out of breath as hell, Weathers burping up whiskey.
All that smoking catching up to me.
Yeah, exactly. You run up to the front door of the church and pull on the doors, and they do open because generally they're left open at night. In small towns like this.
Go inside calling, Vicar! Vicar!
Vicar, your voice echoes out in the sanctuary, and there's some candles in the back. As you kind of run in, the wind whips around and kind of whips the light of the candles and creates these really crazy shadows all over the wall as you run in. Vicar! Vicar! The vicar fails his listening roll. He does not hear you. As you kind of run in, you get to the back of the sanctuary where this sort of row of dedication candles is, right? You know, kind of light a candle for your loved one, sort of thing. But before you see him coming out, clearly putting on his robe. He's dressed in his sort of pajamas, because believe it or not, priests don't always wear that outfit. My son, what is wrong?
The creature's out. It's Eloise.
What? He says.
Eloise. Eloise is cursed.
Cursed.
Yes.
The curse.
Yes.
It's
The curse is real.
How do you know? Because we fucking saw it, okay? Oh, I am so sorry. He's realizing he's injured. What do you
The
do?
Vanes admitted to it. The father and the son admitted to it. It's Eloise.
Are they in leagues with the devil?
He says.
I don't think they volunteered for this.
I think they just don't want to hurt their sister and child.
Well, so what are we to do? Well, we're gonna hurt her, is what we're gonna do, right, guys?
We're gonna
Says
try to
try
stop
not to first.
If we can subdue
right,
her.
we're gonna try to subdue her. That's gonna work out real well. And then we're gonna hurt her. We got silver bullets, he says. And then the vicar's just staring at him like you always stare at him, like, really? Your hearts are beating. You're in the church.
If we can take her and find a way to break the curse, then that's our preferred course of action. But we won't let her hurt anyone else.
He crosses himself and I feel powerless. I will pray for God's help. How else may I help you?
Find out anything you know about that witch. Or anything you can.
Or this Mordigian thing that,
Yeah.
that Evangeline was involved with.
Yes. All right. Okay. He's clearly just so flabbergasted. He doesn't know what to say or what to do. He's just sort of there, kind of panicking, and clearly there's some picture in his head. First, I will pray. Yeah, you
And,
do that.
And keep the doors locked unless somebody's seeking refuge here.
Yes. So he hurries out after you, and as you kind of exit, he closes it, and clearly for the first time in a long time, this big bar that goes across the main church doors is being lifted. So you run back out into the cold, leaving yet another terrified local in your wake. What do you do after that?
Like I heard something that way. Head on.
Okay. Weather says, yeah, I heard it too. I heard it sounded like something screaming. He's got his gun out. You run. Okay. So you run the whole way, sort of full sprint. Are you doing the Lord of the Rings, run across the 500-mile countryside, or
No, we want to hurry, but we want to be careful because again, if we don't know exactly where it is, we don't want to just run right into its jaws.
Yep.
And don't want to be useless at the end of the run.
And you do the 1920s emphysema run. So you make your way up toward Montour, stopping every so often. At this point, you're kind of far enough out of town that Edale, Lesser Edale itself is just kind of this whole sprawl of lights in the distance. You can sort of see the peak of the church against the shadow of the horizon. And
I
then
think every now and then we should stop and catch our breath and listen.
give me a listen roll. Catching your breath. Here's Weathers.
96.
56 out of 61.
Weathers. That's what you hear. He scores an 18. You hear, did you hear that?
No, I heard you.
Oh, it's that way. You don't hear that?
No, is it close?
No. Something in the distance, like right over that way, on that hill right there.
Look that way and start heading that way.
I'll head towards the hill.
He does a quick, like 3 drags in a row on his cigarette and gets the nicotine going and spits the tobacco out because they're filterless, roll your own kind of thing. You start moving that direction?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you go about moving that direction? So just to paint the picture, right? So the hills here are really kind of gentle, some kind of taller than others, and the one that he's pointing at is actually pretty craggy. So you're kind of at the base of this, the land rises up straight this way and then kind of gently rises up to the right and the left. So you're almost in like a tiny little valley at the foot of this main hill. Whatever noise he heard seems to be kind of dead center in the middle of the hill.
I'll be up front and like flanked by them.
Okay.
I have the spear and they have guns.
I love that you've got a spear. This is so good. Okay, so you're gonna just charge right up. How are you creep? Okay, creep.
Check
So
creep walk.
you're moving very slow. Give me your stealth rolls. Standard difficulty is okay.
45 out of
I'm
88.
not very quiet.
Weathers is 41. Okay, what do you do?
77 out of 45.
Wow. So Walt pulls out Joe pulls out a bass drum and starts boom, boom. So you're moving along, and you actually step on a rock and kind of sidestep and almost roll your ankle. You kind of make one of those recovery grunts as you right yourself. Shh, hey, says Weathers, who's right there next to you. He grabs your shoulder. Okay. Do you have lights out?
Yeah.
Okay. The flashlight's kind of
On the ground.
on the ground.
Sort
Okay. So, give me a spot hidden roll, if you will.
3.
Ooh, Jesus Christ.
48 out of 89.
You see the cells of his skin. That's how that success went.
Because it's not bright enough to walk around safely.
No, so the moon is out,
right?
the full moon, but it's really cloudy, and so every once in a while the clouds are like these little torn pieces of fabric kind of going over the moon, shining weird sort of kind of rays of light down. You got your flashlight out at the ground, mainly to avoid what you just had happen. You just weren't paying close attention, right? Anyway, so you're looking around. You look up toward the side of the hill, and you see what you think is a quick blink of red, and then almost like a slow opening, and then just this sort of tightening of a gaze. 2 red eyes staring back at you from about, say, 30 yards away. They're tiny from the distance, but they chill you to the core. He stops moving as he sees this. It's just kind of the fear of it hits him. Give me a quick sanity check, if you would.
Oh,
This is
boy.
pretty scary. I'm going to leave you out because you didn't see it.
Oh, damn it.
Huh?
90.
All right, let's see what happens.
More than that.
Yeah.
Out of 53.
Yeah, now it's out of 52 because you're going to take 2 sanity points.
So that'd be 51.
Wait, you said, 53, you're right, yes, good math. I was thinking you said 55, because I apparently have selective hearing. I was giving you the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, so you take 2 sanity points. You feel this sort of, your skin kind of creeps, and you don't want to push forward, but you know you have to. What do you do?
She's up there, about 30 yards,
What? Where?
straight ahead or whatever.
He looks up there.
I kind of do my hand like.
Looking where he's pointing.
Just as he sort of points, and you guys all kind of, sort of triangulate on what he's pointing at, you hear this sort of echoes. Maybe there's a cave or something, you don't know, it's entirely too loud. And then there's a sound like of footfalls on stone.
Getting louder, getting
Fuck,
softer.
yeah, she is right there, huh? He's got his gun out.
Moving away from us.
Yes, away from you.
Like
Charge at least.
bellow
that
her
far.
name and like challenge.
Okay.
Eloise.
Okay, you said, Eloise! What's the intent of that? You're trying to get her attention?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a persuasion roll. It's gonna be fairly hard though. It's gonna be a hard difficulty.
I don't have a lot to work with, but 37 out of 43, so.
Okay. So you shout her name. Whether or not it has any immediate effect, you're not sure. What do you charge up there?
Up to the
So you all three
At
kind of
least
go
up to the
barreling
cave,
up to
not
the
into
cave.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of run up, and what you see is this really kind of odd assortment of rocks in the side of this hill. It's not like a grandiose, perfect arched opening or anything like that. It's this really weird sort of cleft, craggy hole, almost like a divot in the cave, or in the side of the hill. As you turn and shine your light in, though, it's clear that it sort of winds in there. But there's no way you're going two abreast. There's absolutely no way, and you're gonna have to crawl. Okay, here's where we let the monster stay in the cave, guys. Okay? Guys? He says,
I don't know if we can do that.
well, flights back to the US are cheap. This thing probably can't swim. You know? If I'm being honest.
We could camp out here at the opening and wait it out. But there could be another opening leading the hill somewhere else.
You go first?
I'll go first. I'll switch the
Of course you'll go first.
from spear to just big ass syringe of tranquilizer.
Okay, you grab this big sort of 1920s, I mean, all syringes were like that big back then with a big plunger on it. So yeah, you grab this syringe, and how do you carry it? So you're gonna have to crawl, and then, the needle's kind of long. It's like a surgical syringe, like,
Yeah.
stainless steel kind of thing.
Just carefully.
Okay. So bear in mind that if I ask you for any kind of like movementy thing and you fumble, you may stab yourself with that and be
Try
really
not to
high.
depress the
Okay,
plunger.
so you go in knowing that's a risk. Okay, so you go first. You're trying to be quiet. You just crawling
Try
through.
to be.
Okay, give me a stealth roll.
65 out of 88.
So,
Do you need that from all of us? I take it?
yes.
51 out of 45.
Ooh, okay. So, Weathers, he's sort of crawling along and literally just farts right in your face as he's nervous stomach, absolutely not knowing what's going on. You just, oh, God, kind of thing.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You know I get nervous stomach sometimes, right? He
This
says.
time you take up the rear.
And you're just thinking, shut the fuck up. And you're both talking about it. Yeah. It's kind of ironic, right? You're taking up the rear. Sorry. He laughs. Anyway, so nervous laughter, of course. So you're kind of crawling in. Well, you basically, yeah, so you're crawling through this kind
It's
of
nice to know you all.
root-strewn, rocky area, and you're kind of having to shift through, and you can feel the rock sort of scraping against the fabric of your clothes. And at a certain point, it just kind of breaks through, and your hand falls on a flagstone, like a flat, pretty well rectangular stone. And as you kind of move in, you're looking around, it's a good bit bigger in there. It's probably, say 5.5, 6 feet wide. You stop. There are some carvings on the wall. You're not sure what they say just yet because you're kind of here. It looks like sort of angelic figures.
All right, I get out of the way and stand up if I can.
Okay. You crawl in and kind of shake yourself. So give me a spot hidden roll as you crawl in. You flashlight in one hand and a syringe in the other, right?
93 or
Okay.
less
Yeah.
than
You're just the dust is all over you. You kind of looking around. The one thing that you definitely notice, the carvings on the wall that I mentioned before. It's not like proper angelic statues. Look at that frog.
It's a live frog.
You hear a pissed off frog nearby. Do they have frogs in the UK? Anyway, no,
Sure they do.
you notice that the carvings on the walls are very primitive. You're certainly not an anthropologist, but this is an old place. You think to yourself. So you step in. Weathers comes out next. Whoa, he says as he crawls out. He's got to make himself an archaeology roll.
I'm gonna look around and check out what we're seeing here.
Okay, so you come out and shine your light around.
I'm looking for
Makes me
monster.
wonder if there's a reason she came here.
Hey guys, this is a grave, and it's a real old one, he says, looking around, shining his flashlight. So keep in mind what it is, I mean, there's no moonlight. There's literally no light in here,
Because we're
and it's
inside
really,
cave.
yes, and it's really
So
dusty.
The only light is our flashlights.
The only lights, and it's really dusty,
And the
so.
monster's red eyes.
Hmm? Yeah, and the monster's red eyes. So the only light are these sort of cones of light coming out from your old school flashlight. So it's like bars of light almost because of the dust in the air. And so literally this thing could be standing right next to you at any given second and you wouldn't notice.
I'd make sure it's not.
Okay, so
I check first for openings in the room
okay,
because we want to make sure there's one flashlight pointed at that at all.
okay. So give me a spot hidden roll. So you guys are all in general.
56.
99.
So you're kind of freaked out. You're in this enclosed space
This
is
is where I
really
become
bothering you.
claustrophobic.
You're shining your light around, kind of like this, sort of that your eyes darting around. You see Joe's face, and he's looking around, and you're starting to feel really uncomfortable. I'm gonna ask you to make a sanity check for me, since you're going crazy anyway.
81 out of less than 81.
Oh no! So you're gonna take one sanity point. That's a damage. You're gonna lose 1 point of sanity. You all right, buddy? Hey, it's okay, man. Focus.
I'm good.
He's shining a light right in your face.
Just move the light a little bit.
You reach out and kind of push it to the side. Yeah.
Don't
So,
shine it. Don't
yeah.
shine it in anybody's eyes.
So, what was yours was low.
56 out of 96.
Okay, so you shine your light around. As you're shining your light kind of say to the right. There's this large stone column in the center. It's almost as if this chamber is sort of kind of roughly round, and there's like a middle column of stone that it was like a donut shaped chamber, if you will.
Okay.
On the other side of the column, you can see these sort of brackets, each like iron brackets kind of up at about chest height. But on the ground, you think you see a leg protruding.
A person's leg and
Yes,
animal
it's
leg?
not hairy,
Okay.
not overly hairy, you know, from this distance anyway. You'd have to give it a feel to see. No, it's a fleshy color for the most part from here.
Okay.
But it's protruding from the center here.
I kind of pat Walt's shoulder or something to get his attention.
Okay, you pat Walt's shoulder,
And then
getting
kind of
Weathers' attention as well.
Gesture like down towards the ground.
You hear kind of on the other side of this chamber, further than that, not coming from that source. As you shine the light there, it's almost as if you're shining the light, say here, and it's coming from sort of out by the pool, kind of that distance. You hear this loud sort of, like this sort of slushy sound coming from that same direction.
From the direction of the cry or the direction of the leg?
From the direction of the cry. The leg seems silent.
Okay. And I approach the leg and then
Okay.
like split time between the
I
leg
kind of take
and
a
the...
wide movement towards it,
Okay.
where I can still shine a light on it. But I also keep checking but I also check the direction towards the wall to see if there's a doorway or something. But it sounds to be
Yeah, that's about enough. Okay, so where's my mouse? There it is. So I can ping to show you where you are. So you guys are basically, can you see that? Pinging?
No,
Mm-mm.
Why not?
because it's not pinging on that screen.
Well, shit. All right, fine. So let's stand up then. So, basically the crack that you came through is sort of off over here. And this is where the flagstones begin. So obviously the construction here is fairly rough, but very intentional. So you're here at this point, and the leg is kind of out here. This isn't touchscreen, should be going crazy. The sound seems to have come from kind of off in here. So your field of vision really is obstructed.
So it's the other side of the column somewhere.
Yes,
Right.
and let me, if I could, take a brief, you want to take a potty break before this gets real?
Sure.
All right, so, okay, yeah, we have, you were heading,
So
what were you
quick-
doing? So,
quick question.
so let's reset a little bit here. Oops.
So quick question, since we were scanning, to the left, is that open, or is there a wall up there that's not?
There is a wall, so I'm just kind of, this is quick and dirty, and I should probably figure out who drew it and give them credit, but, so it kind of circles off here, here, and this is a rise, and it kind of ends here, as
Okay.
far as you can tell.
All right,
It's small.
so as far as we can see from where we're at, there are no exits.
Correct, as far as you can tell.
But we can't see over there, obviously, and we
Mhm.
can't see there because the columns are.
Yep, so initiative goes in dex order. So what is your dex?
80.
Jesus. So Wiley one. What about you?
55.
Okay, so it's gonna be you, Weathers, then, Walt. Okay, so what do? So you saw what you believe to be the leg over here.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's this sort of squishy sound that came from over in the darkness. Now, mind you, it's really dark. I cannot possibly overstate that. So-
Wherever the light's not shining, it's pretty much pitch black.
Exactly. I chose the perfect map to illustrate that too. You know, because it's all white.
Yeah.
Bright. Sorry. So the haze, and every now and again, you can sort of hear this sort of sounds like pebbles and such falling from the ceiling when there's not that squishy noise. And here's what do? So you were moving over to check out the leg. Okay, so move you where you
And
go.
I was kind of circling to shine the light more on it.
Okay. Okay, so you circle out to give him more light.
Yes, so I
Okay.
would probably be behind him, but not so much that his shadow would be blocking the light too much.
Okay, give me just a quick dexterity roll as you step into that pile of kind of rocky rubble.
I'm just seeing if it's a corpse or if it's
22.
Okay, so you step up onto it. You feel kind of some of
Yeah, I
it
probably wouldn't
shift.
step onto it. more
Whether it
like-
stays right
Yeah,
behind you.
if I have to move up to avoid the rocks, I think I would do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm,
Yeah, so
I don't
you're
wanna
you're kind of crunching through it, but you're not
Right.
stepping up on the larger pieces.
right, I don't want to climb up on something that I'm uncertain of in the pitch black.
Okay, so you basically kind of use your
Is that
moves
like a
together.
Drop down?
Yes, it's slight though. It's about 2 to 3 feet. It's
Okay,
not.
so I try to keep my mind on my footing, knowing that's there, but still trying to. So I don't know that I would try to step down without the light. I would probably stop there and keep the light shining.
Okay, so you step up, you get a sort of a line of sight on the leg, and right about then the main source of light. You've got your light, but it kind of gets dark all of a sudden as he steps, and then the light comes back. So the light again, and what I'm trying to illustrate is it's shifting all over the place. And Weathers, who is clearly a little rattled as he always is shining his light around. So there's kind of light darting, and then at one point, as he sweeps the light this way, in this couple seconds that this is happening, you kind of hear this like a reaction to the shifting of the light around. Anyway, so you do see, and I'm going to want a sanity roll before I describe what.
I'm sure it's
43 out of 43.
Oh, Walt!
It's 35. I'm going to fail every time. And it's only going to get worse.
You need to just get to church and get some therapy.
At best, it could be 45.
So what you see here is basically, yes, it is a corpse. It is fresh enough that it was still kind of fleshy in appearance. And thankfully you can't quite see the detail just yet. You hear Walt's gasp though as he stiffens up, kind of looking at this. Basically from the hip down, there's flesh. But right up around the hip, it's chewed and gnawed out, and there's kind of strips of flesh lying open. You can sort of see up into the pelvis.
Yeah.
And then all up across the chest is just ripped to shreds and spread all around here. It's really disgusting.
Okay, I don't focus on that anymore.
Okay,
Towards the
you
noise.
look away, losing a couple shreds of sanity there. What is it? You hear it.
She's dead.
She's dead.
There's a body.
Oh, is it her?
No.
Oh, good. He says.
Is it dinner?
It was.
Okay, so you kind of have turned back around. Give me a list roll.
50 out of 61.
Okay. You hear, so as you say, is it dinner? You hear something kind of slapping. Drag. Something's being dragged.
I turned the light in that direction.
Okay. Give me a sanity roll, please. Not you, yeah, you're good.
87.
Ooh, nice.
Close to an 87.
And this one's going to be a little worse. So it's 4 points. Did somebody make note that Weathers loses 4 as well? Because I'll forget. So Weathers, oh, fuck! Pardon the miniature.
I guess we're not being sneaky.
This is a Gale of Dur, I think is what this is from D&D. But, not, kind of average, roughly 21-year-old female size. Coming around the corner and really stooped over, almost like this sort of osteoporosis situation with these bones sticking out at weird angles out of her back and dragging the rest of that corpse literally torn apart. Around the corner comes Eloise. Her face is elongated into this irregular jaw with these teeth that stick up at strange angles. This is no wolf. If this is what a werewolf looks like, she rounds the corner dragging this corpse and looks at you and just and then runs at you. What do you do?
Running it.
You run at it too? Okay. I love this. Your character's fucked up.
I'm not sure what to do because I was not expecting him to charge the creature.
Okay, so you're
And I have a
gonna,
gun,
yeah, you're
He's
gonna.
going to be in the way.
All right, so you're gonna lose your action this round at being caught by surprise.
Yes.
So she's actually going to move in.
I'm going to shine the light out. That's about
So
the
you're gonna
extent.
shine. Okay, so your light's shining all around and again flashing, sort of like oh, as it runs. It's going to run right at you because you have your
All right.
you have your weapon. So she's gonna make her move. This is you, yeah.
That's me.
I'm
What's
gonna
the
turn you
gray
face.
hunch
You're
over?
like, oh. So she's gonna close the distance and try to make a melee attack. So are you going to fight back or dodge?
Dodge.
Okay. So she's going to charge in and make her melee attack. Wow, she didn't do so well.
51 out of 52.
Even with her bonus for giving you by surprise, 51 out of 52.
Yes.
She beat you there though.
Uh,
Yeah, so give me 2 seconds and let me my critters.
so just barely one level of success.
Ooh, that's gross. Oh, really? Sorry, it's not actually. You what?
I said maybe I should have fought back. My brawling skills are good.
There we are. Okay. That's not close. It's okay. So she is going to do 3 points of damage as she basically lunges forward and takes with her free hand, not letting go of this corpse that she's got, slashes across your chest, smashing the lens in your flashlight. All goes dark except for the other lights. It's just like a and then kind of the bulb sort of shorts out. You stagger back onto the rocks just from the slash of her blow. So give me a dex roll. Let's see if you stay standing.
63 out of
63. So you stagger back, and because of your amazing dexterity, you have the dexterity of a dancer, you sort of step and the rocks start to roll, but you retain your footing. So that will conclude her action for this round. So now we resume normal initiative order. So, what was it? It was you, Weathers. She'll go after that, and then we'll. So what do you do? So you stagger back, and how do you act?
try to kind of get to the other side of the rock pile
Okay.
and throw my flashlight at
Okay, so you just throw your flashlight that general direction. Weathers is shining his light on her at this point. So you throw the flashlight, and are you trying to distract her or hurt her with the flashlight throw?
it. Distract her because my understanding is Walt is going to go after her with the...
Yeah,
I'm running.
he's mid-flight. He's in the midst of it.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to give that plan a chance
Okay.
before I start shooting.
Okay, so give me your roll, your throwing flashlight roll if you have that skill.
Throw.
Yeah, throw the skill. Yeah.
20% to start.
62!
You throw the flashlight out into the darkness. You hear it clatter, and she always does not react at all. Because again, she's actually right here. She's staying right on
I
top
managed
of
to
you.
get back a little bit.
Well, yeah, you're right. That is where that happens, and I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. So, yeah, you step back, and then you're trying to move down
I'm
here.
trying
So
to
give
get
me,
down.
give me a dex roll as you kind of make that. Now it's dark over there, so that's going to be harder. Ooh, you eat it. So you do get over there, but you fall and you're going to be prone. So you're going to have to get up before you connect. So you basically kind of tumble down on your hands and
Or shoot
knees.
from the ground.
Yes, into the darkness. Or into Walt's ass, because he's right. Okay, so that's that. Weathers is actually going to try to shoot, because that's all he can think of. And with a 26, he's going to hit. What's the damage on a revolver?
D10.
D10. Thank you.
For 38.
Jesus. Okay.
Not everyone's listening score down a couple points in this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly. So there's definitely just BAM! Sudden flash, and he hits her, and Eloise just, she turns and clearly is reacting to him, plus the light, yeah, take that, motherfucker, he says. And then he's clearly reacting to her, snarling at him. Then she will actually attack Weathers. All right, so she turns in with her move. Weathers is going to try to fight back in this moment. He's got the gun already aimed at her, and he's just going to try to shoot at her. Firing again, pow! This deafening blast right over her shoulder as she, as she rolls a 15 and is going to basically tear him a new one.
How much damage you do?
So she charges into him full bore, releasing the corpse at her side with a whip, and just tackles him to the ground and starts tearing his chest open with her teeth. Lands right on top of him and just, you can see blood. He's kicking his feet. His light's going crazy, and with the spasms of being attacked in the chest, he smashes his light against the stone, and it goes out. You now have one flashlight.
This is not good.
You act. What do you do?
You just jump on her and get the syringe in a meaty part of her.
Okay. You run up, flashlight. Give me. I'll let you make the move without a check. Just I'm going to give you the adrenaline rush. You stagger and stumble as you're moving in. Give me your attack roll. She is unaware, so you're actually going to get a bonus die.
Turn your 32 into a 2.
Okay. Wow. Okay. A 32 into a 2. So I'm going to let you tell me. You tell me how does this go down. So you're right up
She
on
went
her.
after Weathers and is like on top of him.
She is on top of him, shredding the
I
shit
just
out of him.
jump on her, like an arm around and like right into the, like here.
Okay, right into her neck. So you jump. The first thing is her skin is kind of wet and oily and mottled, and the hair, what hair is
I'm
there?
all in it.
You just get all up in it, popping some boils along the way. Yeah, you and push the syringe down.
And then after that, it's trying to wrestle her away from Weathers.
Okay. So it's only
The flashlight
literally.
probably is on the ground at this point.
Yeah. So you're kind of like a sandwich, really, right? So Weathers is on the ground. His arms are out. He's just bloody all over. She's on top of him, takes 2 more bites because she's just kind of bites into his chest again. You hit the syringe, and within just a couple of seconds, you feel her muscles start to relax. What do you do?
Just
She's
get her
going to
off
get
of
one
his
more
side.
action. I'll give you that spoiler. She'll get one more action before she passes.
Getting her off again.
Okay.
Face.
All right, so that'll be your action next round. So kind of coming around, that's back to you. you basically skin your knees and elbows kind of thing. And you're like, you feel the pain of it, but the adrenaline keeps you moving. What do? So you're gonna have to stand up as your move action.
And then his flashlight's on the ground, so it's gonna be hard to see because it's not pointing.
Yeah, you look over and it's black all around you. There's just, and then it's just like chaos of light in front of you. His light is in his hand still, or
Like on the ground pointing somewhere, maybe if we're lucky at us.
I'm actually gonna say it's in his hand,
Okay.
pointed up,
Okay.
because you had it,
Okay.
and you put your arm around her neck, and so it's pointing back up. So it's really fucked up. There's this cone of light going up toward the ceiling and shaking all over the place. And then you can vaguely make out from the kind of halo light around that what's going on.
Screaming, making noise, me.
I'm gonna take the time to aim at Eloise,
Okay.
but I'm not gonna do anything just yet because they're wrestling.
2 and
So-
3.
Okay. So you're taking good aim. You right yourself, and you're kind of walking up sort of slowly and aiming. Okay. Got it. So that rolls over to Weathers, who is going to try to fight back some more and get her off of him. And he rolls a 72. So he basically tries to sit up, and apparently it seems like some of the pain, for whatever reason, you see his neck struggling, and then you realize that the gravity of his wounds, his entire pectoral muscle is torn off, and he's just pissing blood everywhere. So you basically kind of, you're there. He tries to sit up, and then she's actually going to try, with her action, to tear out his throat. She rolls a 73, but yeah, because of the situation, you see her her muscles relax a little, and you think she's actually going to pass out, and she just right into his throat. And there is where she collapses. There's blood, there's like gurgling. You don't know what's, Weathers making this sort of struggling noise. You're like, what do you do now?
We're gonna get her off of him.
Okay.
It's like she's dead weight now, so just
Give me,
shoving her
give me
out.
she's small enough compared to you. You kind of stand in your adrenaline, you sort of roll her off of him. And there's just a bloodbath. Give me a sanity check as you watch as your friend is.
5, I mean.
Okay, you make that one. So this brings you back to World War
But yeah, I'm like panicking. Like,
Yes.
oh God.
I. Yeah, exactly. Buddy, well, just you can hear the artillery going off, and you can smell the gunpowder from World War I, and it's nowhere near, but you're there in those memories. You kind of his chest is literally just torn wide open. Joe, what do you do?
I get in there and see if there's anything that can be done to help.
Okay. First aid roll. This is going to be a tough one.
20 out of 48.
He's going to die. So
98 out of the less than 98.
you're sure he's going to die. Actually, your 98 says you can fix this, and you're there with your suit or your white dress shirt, and you just bloody all the way up to the chest, trying and kind of doing whatever you can, basically scrambling around in his blood. He dies right there in front of you.
That sucks.
It sure does. What do you do?
Recover for the moment or whatever, and then take the chains and stuff I have locked with the locks and secure it.
Okay. You kind of lean back, and you can hear the sort of clinking and crunching of the chains. As you're just overwhelmed with grief. You hear movement next to you. What do?
Look at
You
it.
have one flashlight.
Oh,
She's moving slowly, but she's moving.
just quickly as I can, like the arms and legs, hog tie or whatever I can manage with.
Okay.
stuff.
So give me a dexterity roll to get over to her. So she's basically. Let me reset the scene here. You just gotta move your feet. Dead.
What was the roll?
Dexterity.
Dexterity, 50 out of 55.
Okay. So you basically scramble over there and unshoulder your bag and you get the chains out, because it's not like you had these at the ready and like locks at the ready or whatnot. And your hands are shaking like shit. The trouble is you cannot do that, hold the flashlight at the same time. So instinctively you kind of lay the flashlight down next to you, aiming at what you're doing and moving quickly.
Joe, get the light.
Joe, get the light.
Charge in there and try to I
Okay.
guess I would be over here trying to help Weathers.
Yep, that's right. So you kind of scramble over. Yeah, exactly. And take up the light so you know how that, again, it is a very precious commodity because as you move it, everything around you goes dark and you're now focused on the scene. I'm going to ask for 2 dexterity rolls. If you fail one, you will not be able to restrain her before she awakes.
Can I push it?
You can push it. You can push it, or you can use a whole shitload of luck if
I
you
don't
want.
have that much luck.
Okay. Okay, so you're going to push the roll.
Okay, 11 out of 55.
Okay, so your hands are scrambling at first, right? When you start to get it around and the chain slips off of her and your hands are just shaking, you take a deep breath and focus, and then basically get the chains around her the way you want. Kind of get her arms at a real weird angle and pull it nice and tight. The second dexterity roll is to get it locked. So you're looking with the light shining on, her eye opens very slowly, like, and you see actually it focus and then grimace across her face as you're trying to get the lock. 7. You, just as that happens, she grimaces and you and lean back, and her muscles tense and the chains actually strain.
Like
you
a
can hear them
strap.
like. What do you do?
Aim my gun at that creature.
Okay. You aim your gun,
I keep my flashlight.
and it's there. What do you do?
Is it contained?
For the moment, it seems so.
Just watch. Make sure it stays contained.
Give me a listen roll.
Oh,
Yes.
10.
39.
Behind you. What do you do, Joe?
Behind me?
Yes.
Like here? No, I was just trying to figure out which way to dodge.
Yes, behind you. No, it's okay. You can still dodge.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're being shot from behind.
But away from the sound.
The best you can do is.
Behind me is either here or
Yep.
here, so whichever direction
Yep,
is away
yep.
from the sound.
Ooh, you're gonna have to be really good. That's an 18.
74.
Ooh,
Push it?
you absolutely can push it, but bear in mind you don't have enough luck. Bear in mind that if you fail a push, it is a much worse situation. Actually, I don't think you can push combat rolls. No, you cannot push combat rolls. I'm sorry, I'm correct.
So I
So
could use luck.
you could use a whole lot of luck, maybe.
Roll 74. No, because it's not gonna.
Okay, so the good news is it's not quite at point blank range. I need to go get a fat man. So you get winged for only 1 point of damage. Yep, sadly. So basically you feel the bite of gunshot in your back and your kind of shoulder on your left side. And it kind of spins you around, and just as you turn, you have the flashlight. It goes dark where you are. The flashlight spins on a very creepy and very menacing looking Lawrence with his shotgun. "This ends here," he says.
I'm gonna fire multiple times.
Okay, you're going to fire multiple times. So you turn and you're going to do that. So that actually caught you by surprise. That will be his action, so we'll restart. You have the initiative. So you turn and fire multiple times.
How does that work?
So your second shot gets penalty die, and I think it's if your third
No,
shot
you
you get
keep
another
stacking
penalty
up.
die. You just keep getting penalty die. So your first shot's normal. Your second is a penalty
So
die.
33 out of, and I was gonna fire 3 times, so 33 out of 80.
Okay, you hit it. So
7.
did you say 7?
7.
Jesus, that's your one with a penalty die.
No, that's my first one.
Okay, that's your first one.
That's my first shot, that's the damage.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Okay, so the second shot is 71 out of 80.
Okay.
And damage is 7 again.
Whoa. Okay.
So I get 2 penalty dice for the third
Yeah.
shot?
Yeah.
That's interesting. And then 65 out of, what did I say?
7 something.
at Vane.
Okay. So basically
So I hit him all 3 times?
you hit him all 3 times.
7,
So
7,
14.
and 6.
So you basically, pow, pow, he does it, huh, huh, drops his gun on the second shot, and then you shoot him right through the eye on the 3rd shot, and he basically just,
Barely knew ye, Lawrence.
yeah, bleeding out of his mouth and his ear, twitching just a little bit as he lays there.
Smokey didn't have anything else to say.
I mean, there might have been a monologue, we'll never know. We'll never know. So what do? Your hands are just trembling like crazy. You've got the flashlight, and
I'm still focused on the monster.
Yeah, so it's
I'm
dark.
like, oh.
Yeah, you're oh, what the? Yeah.
I think I'm gonna get out of this opening and then shine the light towards, because there's still an old man out there somewhere,
Yep, maybe.
and shine the light towards the monster.
Okay. You step out. You kind of come, shine the light on. That it gives Walt some light to operate by. She's laying there, straining against her chains, and clearly becoming more and more awake. And the more she strains, the more the chains are being challenged. You can literally see, in some cases, the links are trying to let go.
Pistol whip. Across the
Okay, so you hit, because she can't go anywhere, so you take careful aim and just knock the living hell out of her. Let's see. She, sort of head lolls to the side, blood and a tooth dislodged, a real weird, crooked, spiny tooth. What do? You don't have Weathers to panic anymore, but you're definitely panicked.
Okay, so it's contained. Now what do we do with it?
I'm subduing it. I'm in the process of beating it into conscious.
Yeah, and he asked you that question. You knocked it out for the moment.
Try and wait till morning. I don't even know what time it is.
You have no idea.
No idea.
Yeah, it's after, you probably say, kind of after 10, maybe before midnight.
Yeah,
at this
I
point.
was just say we wait because I'm just kind of far gone.
Get away from the opening.
I shuffle back away from the opening.
Okay, so you shuffle out of line of sight, kind of over here at a distance.
I go pick up the shotgun.
I
Okay.
kind of need the side up.
You can smell now that you're fixed. Okay, the other side. Joe, now that you're here, you can smell the stink of this corpse over here.
There's
Sort of that.
Going to be blood smell everywhere.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
The pool of poor Weathers is there too.
And Lawrence. Well, I get the shotgun and then retreat back over here so we have cover
Okay.
for anything else that might come in, and just keep an eye on Eloise.
Okay. You sit and you wait. Every so often she stirs. At one point, maybe it's as the day starts to pass, you notice that the tone of her skin, her bloody kind of gray mottled skin changes. It becomes more flesh-like. Suddenly the features become less distressed and distorted. The teeth become more straight. And you watch as she literally starts to shed the sort of outer skin underneath. The structure changes, right, to a more normal, and then the outside skin just kind of cracks and peels away with this sort of yellow mustardy stringy shit and just kind of runs off of her.
That's nasty.
As you're watching, give me a sanity roll, because that's what we do here.
Coming.
Yes, Weathers is not going to roll.
11. So
11.
71.
71. Okay, so you look away. You have the good sense to just look away. Joe, you are fixated on it, and it literally nauseates you. You feel that sort of your dinner
As,
rising.
not to interrupt, but as like some time had passed when it became obvious that there was no one else coming in here, I would have like moved his body like out of the way and clean and like Weathers just get them together and
Okay, sort of try to dignify the situation
like
a little
their
bit.
coat over them or
Okay,
something.
yeah. So you don't have to look at it, because every time you look at your best buddy, I mean, again, memories of the war, memories of your friendship come back. So yeah, you've done that. He's kind of slumped up against the wall. He's dead, but he looks a little better than he did before. So What strikes you, Joe, is you're shining the light on it, staring at this transformation. Suddenly you hear this whimpering. Clearly confused, this young lady with blood and this mustardy, stringy shit in her hair, kind of matting her hair to her face. She starts to struggle and is confused. The shame, because she has changed shape, goes a little bit slack, and she kind of starts to writhe loose. What do you do?
Stay where you are.
What? Where am I? Oh no, it's happened again. It's happened again. Taste it, she says. What do you do? You're still way across the room?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. There with the light and the gun.
I'd help her up and out of the loose chains now.
Okay.
You sure that's a good idea?
You
Yeah.
move over and
In my head, I'm more confident that I can take out her rather than the monster.
so you help her.
She's probably naked, so my
She is.
jacket.
Yeah, you take off your jacket. She's definitely naked, covered in blood and flecks of some kind of gelatinous, fleshy substance left over from her previous form. And she kind of stands. Her fingernails, you notice, have got what looks to be strips of skin still kind of clinging underneath them as they're just now finishing the transformation. She's kind of still hunched over just a little bit. You notice her ribs on the one side still jut out just a little bit. What do you do?
I keep my gun trained on it.
Okay.
Start walking around in the cage.
Give me a spot hidden roll. You.
I'm too distracted. 95.
Is there
Oh, actually, no. 95 and a 96.
Okay. Barely.
Yeah, barely.
But I'm gonna give you got a bonus though, right? Because it's an easy thing, because your gun's trained and you're staring right at her. Okay. So you're walking out and consoling her. She's just sobbing. You see her look over her shoulder and smile.
Look out!
He says.
Shove her.
You what?
Shove her.
You shove her against the wall.
And
Just
cut her off by
just
the-
as you shove her against the wall, literally her hand just bursts open and just this form comes from the inside. You see again the skin sort of starting
I
to
shoot
fall off. You shoot her. Give me a roll to shoot her. Joseph, you have.
80 out of 80.
Give me a D10 just for this. Over 5 you reloaded, below 5 you forgot.
8.
Okay, good. So you did reload. So what was your
80.
80 of?
80.
Oh, right on.
Right on.
So he shoves her. You hear the bullet bang off of the cave wall and the whole old school around the cave. You do not hit her. She turns and looks right at you. You see as she's there, her breast just rips open with this weird kind of spiny protrusion, and the skin just sags and falls to the ground as she leaps at you. She rolls a 90. So basically, what are you gonna fight back?
My plan is to dodge out of the way, quick draw.
So you'll
and
dodge.
shoot
Give
him.
me a roll to dodge. Okay, so that'll be your action for next round is the shot, but this round is the fight back dodge.
65 out of 80.
Okay, you basically, so critter, let's reset this. This is dead guy, this is you still kind of hanging out. This was you are at point blank range, so you get a bonus die. So basically you dodge out of the way as she charges forward and basically scratches the wall, and you see her claws literally dig into the stone a little bit. There's a snapping sound as one of them just snaps off right in the quick. You're at point blank range, so let's see, she's acted. That was kind of her surprise. So new round, you shot. I'm trying to sort this through. Okay, so it's your turn. So you,
So many bullets.
so many bullets. How many times you gonna shoot?
3. I think that's the
Oh,
cap.
okay.
Is a tie a win or?
On
skill?
It depends because you've got this is easy, so you're gonna add bonus.
That was the penalty.
Well, then it would the bonus would negate 1 penalty die for your third shot,
This was the third shot.
and the other one would be no penalty die because you're at point blank range.
Right. Yeah, this is my third shot.
Okay,
And I
so-
rolled the penalty and I tied
Okay,
it.
yeah, you're fine. Equal to or below.
Okay. 9, 8, 9.
So you basically turn and just put 3 bullets right into her upper body. The last one, you're like, and the side of its head, like the kind of up here and the sort of top air, just blows the parts of skull and brain all over the wall. Give me a sanity check real quick.
98.
Oh, darn it. So this isn't too much different than the war, so you're only going to take 1 sanity away there. But you basically blast this young lady's brain, this creature's brain all over the wall. And she's full on move. It slices the wall. You pow, pow up the back, and the last shot, pow in the back of the head, splatter, and she collapses. And blood runs out of her mouth. Joe, you're there with the flashlight, hand shaking.
It's 2 more in the head when it's
Okay.
I was
You
gonna
just-
say, I'm gonna
You just
help
put
you.
it right down there, just right down at the pow, pow, and just the head just kind of spatters.
Wouldn't be the first thing we thought that
Yeah.
normal bullets didn't hurt.
What do you do?
I gave it my all. It didn't work out. And we lost Weathers and that dumbass son.
Yeah.
Confident that she's dead, start carting corpses outside of this cave.
Okay. So you basically cart the body, starting with Weathers.
Check
get
on
him
Weathers
out.
because he got bit too.
Yep.
So you can make a meal. Not Weathers, but Joe.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, Weathers needs a lot of help, up to and including resurrection magic. So here's where we'll stop. We can kind of go through the narrative and wrap up. Yay!
There's some explaining to do in town.
You do have some explaining to do in
That'd
town.
be interesting.
All right. So this
Probably
concludes.
should take the body straight to the church.
So the curse of the Vanes has been solved, and you have successfully gotten through the Derbyshire horror scenario as modified by Jason Jones.
Sneaky fucking monster.
Yeah. Awesome. That was fun. Was it fun, Eric?
Yes, it was.
All right.
Except for Weathers down.
Yeah.
So next time we pick up Call of Cthulhu, you will be at the Scoop, getting back into the normal storyline because you've now isolated your 2 stories. The only remaining one to look into is that 3rd one that brings you back into the main story arc.